Hello, guys. So today we're doing a podcast, and I thought I'd talk a bit about life and all that in this podcast with a friend of mine by the name Jacky. She's an amazing fluff who's been around with me for a long time now, and she really does help me a lot. And it's nice to have someone to talk to, and also to play Second Life. And if you're wondering what Second Life is, it's the predecessor to VR chat. It's completely free actually, and you don't need to download. You only use Steam to download it. You just look up Second Life, um, and I forget the name of the server that we're in, but it's a really nice one. It's really quite a beauty to be in, to be honest with you. And Jacky's a very nice person. She's been there with me, and yeah. Also, I'll try and do a few things. First, we're going to be doing a kind of fly around of the area and showing her around and all that, and then we'll get into the actual kind of podcast of it all. I have kind of shortened certain parts out. It may be quite a fairly long video, but just feel free to skip ahead to certain parts that you may be more interested in. Sorry, I don't have any timestamps. It's my first time making one of these podcasts. But if anything, I hope you enjoy this, and I hope you have a brilliant day.
Could be. Ooh, that's cool.
Now, if I remember right, if I just come up along at the right side, you can ride it.
Oh, he is pretty. Oh, and he do a blip. He do a blip.
I got it. And I should just... There we go.
He do a heckin' blip.
So there you go.
Yeah.
This is an entire view of the entire area that I'm in.
This is pretty.
Yeah, this is why I came on here, and today was a little bit, I just needed something.
Yeah.
This is one of the first places that I visited in Second Life.
Yeah, usually when I was on here, I was hanging out in metal clubs.
Yeah. There's an entire area that's just completely remote in this whole area. It's just... Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. It's great just to be able to take some time off and do stuff like this.
Yeah. Kind of why I enjoyed Second Life, really.
Yeah. I just found today was one of those days that I just needed to chill for a bit.
And I tell you though, all my old hangouts,
They're gone.
I'm thinking so.
Hmm.
Which kind of sucks.
I learned something today. Sometimes old things disappear to make room for new things.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yeah. So, there's something. Let's go be looking for new things.
I'm kind of curious if Rockabilly is still around though.
That's something.
Because, like, right across the street from it was a carnival that was kind of fun.
That would be, I guess.
But the server was, like, dead.
Yeah, it's probably no longer there, unfortunately. That was not like that last time I was on here. I've not been on here in months. They changed everything dramatically. There used to be a tower there. It's gone. Wonder what else they've changed.
It's still beautiful, though.
Yeah, it is.
And you are there.
Yep. Come on over. Have a seat.
The Volky's office. ah, hang on.
So yeah, this is what I've been usually hanging out whenever I do.
Nice.
Yeah, it's quite nice up here.
Yeah.
So, how's it been for you lately?
My boss is still, but
Mm-hmm. Oh well.
it seems like once they get to lower management,
Yeah.
like say a crew lead, all common sense just goes, nope.
Yeah. Oh well. If it isn't that, it's me having to deal with taxes with my YouTube channel, but you know, well, life and
Man,
such.
taxes are being up to
Mm-hmm.
because I do my own taxes
Yeah. I.
and I go through one of two apps. There's
Uh-huh.
Credit Karma or there is TurboTax. And what the is crawling on my ceiling?
Go. Yeah.
The Jacky is safe, but I
Yeah.
accidentally put a hole in my ceiling.
Oh! Oh well.
Yeah.
Nothing a bit of plaster and stuff can fix, and yeah.
Oh yeah. A little bit of drywall. I'll just cut it out, do a little bit of drywall, go over
Yeah.
top of it, and then freaking stipple it back the way my landlord had it. It'll be
Yeah.
good.
I won't mind. As long as it's fixed. But
Yeah.
yeah. This
Hell,
is.
they won't even know it happened.
They don't need to know. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's.
And besides, I am just that damn good.
I'm sure you are, you smart fluff. But yeah, I. This is the kind of thing that I enjoy, and there's so many interesting experiences on Second Life that I've had, and you end up getting those kinds of moments, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I plan on doing this more often with people. I really do. I've
Yeah.
been trying to do new content. There's people out there that have helped me with all that new content. Yeah. I think it's that kind of time when you feel like it's time to move forward with things in life and do something new. You know?
Oh, yeah.
I
Life's too
feel,
short to be doing the same thing all the time.
as people have said, unus sonus, or, um,
One
uh,
life.
yeah, remember, we die.
Yeah. Memento mori.
Exactly. This life is so precious.
Yeah.
Never let it go. Never give up. Always strive to create what you believe is possible.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay. Looks like you're sleeping if you're facing the other way. If you're facing on against the bar. Oh, it's adorable.
Just randomly.
Oh, but yeah. So, what do you think of that? You know, like, just every so often, things like this that can help out getting yourself going with life and trying out new things and yeah, because
Always welcome new experiences.
exactly. Thank you. You know, it's
I mean, granted, not all experiences are positive,
yeah, that's for sure.
but
It's
the ones that you do have, you learn a lot from.
yeah, I've learned a lot from the ones that have been recently happening in my life, and they really do help.
Yeah,
Like I've been able to get myself
honestly.
to learn a bit more about how to edit videos, which has become a lot more of a thing, and also getting better at various other skills in life, and yeah,
Well, and that's another thing.
yeah,
Never stop learning.
yeah. Because I swear I felt like for a while I was just getting to a point where I felt I wasn't doing anything. I felt like everything I'd been doing was just a repeat, and
Well,
yeah,
that's that's when you look at yourself and go, okay, it's time to pick up a new skill.
yeah. I learned that it was time for me to learn how to do things like I want to get into making my own fursuit heads and stuff like that. Eventually, I did order something a while ago. It was a fursuit head kind of thing. I'm going to spray paint it,
Mm.
give it a clear coat and everything. Um, and
Ooh,
yeah, you can get them online. They're actually quite cheap, but it's like around $50. But you get everything with it. All you need is the
nice.
paint, and some form of adhesive to hold everything together. So that'll be something I look forward to doing in the future, and it really does help a lot. Just opening yourself up to new possibilities, new things, and
Oh, by the way,
yeah,
while you're painting, if you're doing spray paint, do a test patch
mm-hmm,
on like a piece of cardboard or something.
yep,
Like just spray a big old dot
yeah,
and see what your spray pattern is.
yeah,
Overlap that by about half.
oh yeah,
You'll get a nice smooth coat. It'll
mm,
be nice and even. And matter of fact, you might want to do a few test runs on some cardboard,
yeah,
but basically you want to stay perpendicular to the surface at all times.
mm, but yeah,
So match the curves,
mm-hmm,
and also it's a lot about timing as well, or tempo.
mm. But yeah, I've been getting all the paint and stuff at some point once I get it, and it'll be kind of the same color as my first sonar as it is right now: green, red,
Nice.
yellow, blue. But yeah,
Nice.
you'll get to see that once it's made. You'll get to see videos of it and all that. But for now, I've got ideas. I'm getting thoughts into getting ideas for making things, and I think it's that kind of time where
Well,
I've learned it's time to do something new. I've learned things in life. Sometimes I've also learned to let go of certain other things, with all that's been going on. I've learned sometimes you gotta let go of people.
yeah, some people you just need to let go and set set them off on their own course.
Exactly. It's something that's just been something that happened that I feel, yeah, it can hurt
And
though. It can hurt letting
it
go sometimes.
it's never an easy thing.
Yeah, but knowing that it's for the better for oneself and the other, and yeah,
Yeah,
but in the end,
it's it's like a baby bird.
yeah,
We all gotta fly the nest sometime.
Yeah. But
And
I've
as
learned,
much as we want to, hold that baby and just coddle it for the rest of its life, sometimes we just need to know when to let go and just let it fly and soar.
yeah. And I thought, it's time to go and help other people and to make
Yeah.
friends with others that want help and maybe just want someone else to be there, you know? And there's people close to me in New Zealand that I've found that could be a possibility that they may want a hand, or possibly I could give them a hand or a shout out in some way. And there are
Yeah.
some amazing furs out there that I wish to get in touch with more. So yeah,
Well, and if I ever make it out to New Zealand,
you guarantee that I'd love to talk to you and all that in person.
oh heck yeah, and I'm taking you on a ride too.
Well, that would be
I'm
awesome.
renting a I'm renting a damn motorcycle while I'm over there.
I've never been on a motorcycle.
Okay.
Uh,
Uh I'm gonna I'm gonna get you through the loading procedures right quick.
huh?
I I need to be on first.
Yeah.
But it if you were to jump off of that bike,
It would just keep on going upright.
it'd stand right back up and keep on going in a straight line.
Yep. It was proven years ago
Bikes.
that even a single wheel vehicle could actually travel upright.
Oh yeah.
There were actually bikes that actually had one wheel um, that you sat inside of, and it literally was propelled along.
Oh, those mono wheels. I
Yeah,
wanted one so bad.
they look freaking nuts. They're like the 1950s or 80s, I think. Some crazy inventor thought that it would be a wise idea to make one. The only problem is they're
Oh
very
yeah.
hard to turn to change direction. They'd be okay
Well,
on a
and
salt flats or some really flat bit of land with very little obstacles, but yeah.
there's a guy. I want to say about 2000s.
Hmm?
He started making them again,
Huh. I actually think I've
and
seen one somewhere once.
he made one that was something like 7 foot tall.
Huh.
Like the top of the wheel itself
Yeah.
was about 7 foot up,
Yep.
and it was just basically one giant tire that went all the way around it.
Yeah.
And he rode it on, oh, what was it? I think it was Ripley's Believe It or Not was the first time I seen it.
Huh.
And
Interesting.
he's made smaller ones that were like, I think one of the ones was like a 150
Mm.
or 250
Yeah.
cc motor,
Yeah.
and then he had like the big 7 foot one that was like a cruiser. I
Mm-hmm.
think that one was running maybe an 1100
Mm-hmm.
cc motor, or like 1 cubic inch.
Yeah. But
But oh man, it was so cool.
yeah, just getting to go out on things, do things like that. It really does help
Yeah.
to take your mind off of things with hobbies. You know,
Well, and that's why I want a bike so bad, is
you can
like,
just
other than skiing,
mm,
that has been the closest I've been to that sort of release of just
getting away from
everything
it
just
all.
lets go.
Yeah, I've been able to just sometimes find a bit of time to myself just to escape everything.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
this.
we got to remember in this busy, hectic life we live, we still gotta take time for ourselves.
Exactly. You know, there's people in our
Because,
lives that we care about, and they also care about us. But sometimes you just got
yeah,
to take care of yourself first to make sure that you're able to be well enough to do that.
yeah. Because, what the hell was it? Oh, somebody passed along a quote unquote proverb
Hmm.
to me a good while back. A wounded corpsman can't care for his own patients.
True. Just take some time to just chill with people like you. Adorable.
No, you.
Oh,
Oh, and I finally fixed the deal that those it's kind of sort of like a pop socket.
pop socket.
Yeah, it's like a little button thing that goes on the back of your phone, and it makes itself into like a kickstand or a phone grip.
Oh, yeah, those things. I don't have one on my phone, but yeah, those things.
Yeah, well, I got one for my phone,
Hmm?
and it was not wanting to stick.
Oh, no. What did you
So
do?
I went ultra redneck, freaking gorilla glue. Got blood already coming
Oh,
off of there now.
gotta love you for your smarts.
I was like, what kind of adhesive should I use for this?
Oh, there's quite
Oh,
a few different
that's right.
types.
That's right. Gorilla glue practically works on everything.
Mm, two-stage epoxy glue. The stuff that comes in the
That would have
two.
been the next step.
Yeah, they call it
JB Weld
Aerodite.
would have been the
Yeah,
next
or
step.
JB Weld, something like that. That stuff's incredibly good for
Oh
holding things
yeah.
together. I actually used it to hold a stone to a piece of metal, which that shows you how strong it is. It still holds it perfectly
That
fine to this day.
that's actually a really interesting bond too.
Yeah, stone to
It,
metal, like a little
it
like gemstone kind of thing to a piece of copper.
oh nice.
Yeah, just gave everything a good sanding and then just stuck the two together. They welded
Yeah.
perfectly fine.
Well, and surface prep is 90% of the battle.
Yep. But yeah, the main thing with that is that I'm just you find a whole lot of different things. You got to approach a certain, a certain look on it, a certain stance,
Uh,
and this whole fandom is a very, thing that it took me a while to actually understand it. But
yeah. I still don't quite understand the blueberry furs, but you know what?
yeah,
They're not hurting nobody, so if
no
they want
point.
to get blown up like berries, okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things in this fandom, and that's why there's so many different groups in it. They all have their
Huh.
unique quirks. They all do certain things with safer work or a little bit more on the NSFW side.
Uh,
It's there's a spot for
well,
everyone, and then it's finding a friends group, and then you can able to just. It feels a lot better when you've got a friends group to be around. People that you can trust a lot more than just anyone.
and between the furry fandom and the LGBT community,
Mm.
telegram.
Yeah.
But I've I've come across all walks of life,
Yeah.
and it's been it's been crazy. Just how many people have found that, you know, kind of have that same thought of,
Just wanting to get along with each other.
yeah,
Yeah.
just why not just get along and
Have a life.
let
There,
everybody live their
yeah.
lives?
There may be people I may not fully agree on in the fandom, or I may not like. I just don't bother with them. I just do my own
Yeah,
thing.
and that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You can choose who you associate with.
People may not like it that you associate with X, Y, or Z, but to be honest, I'm gonna hang around the people that love me for who I am.
Put yourself around those that bring you up, not hold you down.
Exactly. That's something that I've learned, and that's why I just thought it's nice just to talk about stuff like this. It's just
Yeah.
it really takes the edge off of everything. It just really it's nice to just have something to talk about. It's nice to have someone to, you know, just someone there to chat with everything. Takes your mind off of everything and just yeah.
Oh yeah. It's relaxing.
Yeah. So that's something that I plan on doing more often is doing these kinds of podcasts because to be honest, I don't think I've ever really been able to chat with other furs about things and try and explain everything to the fandom and figure out how can we approach the situation civilly. How can we
Yeah.
figure things out so that everyone can just go on with their lives,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
what did
then again, you've known me for a little while. You
you're
know
an,
I'm one of those just
you
let it roll.
you just let it roll, you go with the flow kind of people?
Nah.
Yeah. So what really interested you when you got into the fandom?
Mostly the huge, like, oh my gosh, huge diversity of people.
It was
Like,
mainly for me, I needed somewhere that I felt, I could be myself.
yeah.
Somewhere I could just be, hey, this is who I am. I love dragons. I love being this this cute drag. And
Yeah.
it helps me just so much just to be able to let go and open up and
Well,
thanks
and
to a lot of people it's really has helped me.
yeah.
Yeah. And
And it's like your phone.
yeah.
There's tons of apps out there. Just like there's tons of different people out there.
Yep.
If you don't want to associate with this group, well, there's an app for another group.
Yep. That's a good analogy to that actually when you think about it. But yeah, I actually have found it to be rather quite positive just to be able to find other things to do, and it
Yeah.
really helps just to be able to get, you know, a different perspective on everything. But yeah, I hope to do this with other people and chat with them, and hopefully once you get
Yeah.
your YouTube channel up and running, that'll be something interesting.
Right?
Yeah,
Hey, like I say, I'm still thinking on trying to do like this stereoscopic cam,
yeah, cool.
which that that's probably going to wind up just being two GoPros duct taped together, knowing me.
That would be an interesting one. Um, the other one is that I could probably show you an editing trick which possibly could work, but I don't know. Yeah, that's
I
the
mean,
thing.
it it's one of those, like, I would love to take the feeling I get when I ride
And give it to someone
to
else.
everybody. Like,
Yeah,
I just want to share that feeling of freedom with everybody.
that's a good way of looking on it. Just having something to showing what you feel, how you feel about something, how it makes you comforts you, or just takes your mind off of something.
Yeah, like heck, when I had my Ninja 650,
Hmm.
you could hardly ever get me off the dang thing.
I don't think I ever could.
Like, I took a long ride
Yeah,
from home to work and then from work to home. I took back roads
yeah. You
because
just
I
ride.
just, yeah,
Yeah,
I wanted to ride and I wanted, you know, if the day was really stressful, all I'd have to do is pop something like $10 in my gas tank
and then you
and
can
I could
just
go for hours. Yeah, seek out that feeling of zen.
feeling of joy, happiness, and freedom.
Yeah,
That's
seek
something.
out what makes you happy, what brings you joy. Seek it out with your entire passion.
Hmm.
And yeah, you may fall.
Yeah,
We all walk this long road of life. And yeah, you'll stumble and fall. But guess what? Your nose is still farther along down that road than you started.
yep,
Get back up. Keep walking.
yeah,
Because there's bound to be something new right around that corner, right around that next bend. Heck, there you might even stumble across something in a pothole you never even knew about.
yeah. You never know. Like I've stumbled upon so many things recently, and it's just getting myself, going and learning. Maybe it's time to do something new, and how to do this new thing, how to get better at it, how to. You get so excited
Uh,
sometimes you gotta slow down a little bit.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, jump into it with all your heart, but also be ready to fail at it
Yeah.
because you don't learn anything from doing it right the first time every time.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've learned so much from just making YouTube videos, how to, get everything working properly, how to, you know, make a good video, how to make a good thumbnail, everything. And it can get a
And
little bit, it can get quite a bit stressful sometimes. You just gotta take a bit of a moment to yourself to realize, hey, don't work yourself out of this. Don't burn yourself out.
yeah, and I mean that actually sets up a good example. How many thumbnails have you thrown out?
Well, to think I've got over 200 videos. Each one of those has
You,
has a thumbnail.
and how many of those had thumbnails that didn't make the cut for you?
More than I can actually probably name, but you know what? Oh well. I've learned. I'm
But
figuring things out and how to get a good one
yeah,
made, and it's having some
exactly.
consistency but some differencing, so that not feeling the same. It doesn't feel like you're just clicking on the same exact video every time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's where you're letting your creativity show.
yeah. That's something I feel a lot more happier about moving forward. Finding
Yeah,
that positivity that's brought me joy over these last few years is creativity. That's something that people
and
forget to let flourish. Is you know you can make the exact same thing, but will it bring any joy?
exactly.
Yeah,
If you do the same thing really well every time, is that going to bring you the same joy as, say, jumping into something new
Yeah.
and, you know, trying but failing? It, to me, it's kind of like skating,
Mm-hmm.
like skateboarding.
Yeah.
You know, you've got this initial passion for it, and then it kind of stagnates. Like, okay, you can hit that ollie every time on demand, nail it perfect, but what else can you do?
Exactly. That's when you start to try doing new things.
Yeah, that's when you start trying to learn that kickflip, that next tabletop,
Yeah.
that next grind, that next flatland trick, that next manual, that next nollie, and it just drives you. And every time you fail, but when you nail that trick,
Hmm.
it's euphoria.
Yeah.
It's utter euphoria of, heck yeah, I did it.
That's something that I've been striving for recently, and that feeling of finally accomplishing something and then realizing how much else I've accomplished along the way.
Exactly.
Sometimes you don't even notice. It,
Nah.
it
And
took me a
it's
while to actually realize that I had over 2,000 subscribers when I only started out wanting only, try and get to just 1,000 to prove that I
yeah.
could able to do this.
Yeah.
But there I
And
am.
once you hit that 2K,
Hmm.
it's a shock, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was like, whoa. I actually managed to do that without, you know, realizing I'd done it at first. And
Yeah.
yeah,
And I I'm I'm still looking forward to that milestone.
I have
Um
reached 2,000 myself, but, I'll help you all along the way if you need it.
well, and I'm going to shout out you, I'm going to shout out Kit,
Yeah.
Gar.
Same.
Let's see here. Who else we got?
Probably a few other YouTubers that we know of.
The more you listen, the more you can learn.
Yeah.
But also consider to be careful, because fools can hide amongst wise men
Yep.
very easily.
Yeah, there are people out there that do try to take advantage of each other. And
Yeah.
honestly, just gotta deal with it. It's a fact of life.
Yeah.
There'll be
Everybody's looking
fools,
for a way ahead.
there'll be scammers, there'll be con artists. But as long as you keep your wits, I'm sure everyone can succeed one way or another.
Yeah. And honestly,
Hmm.
sometimes the fool can be wiser than the wisest of men.
Oh yeah, that's true. Especially you, you silly derp. Yeah.
I just I just have a wide array of useless skills.
Well, I don't think any skill's truly useless. If you think about it, everything has its purpose in this amazing world.
Yeah.
Even us
Like,
being silly animals just running around doing funny things. There has a purpose. That one purpose
yeah.
is, well, comic relief.
Yeah, we're
Being.
kind of we're kind of the oh, what cartoon was that?
Hmm?
Mm, dang it. I'm trying to think of the name of the show. Um I I could equate it to Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, yeah.
We're like the Stimpy for the world.
Hmm. Just
You
being
know,
silly.
exactly.
Well, that's something I've learned. Sometimes you just gotta have that feeling of I'm just gonna do something moment, you know?
Uh,
Yeah.
whether it makes you out to be a fool or not,
Hmm.
sometimes the world just needs a laugh.
Exactly.
And honestly, I find that more and more these days
Yeah.
is people are just too wrapped up in being angry.
Sometimes you just gotta let go of that hatred and just realize there's more to that. There's more to being angry.
There's more to life than being angry all the time.
Yeah.
And granted,
People get upset about
there's
things.
there are some things worth being upset over.
Yeah.
Granted, but don't hold that all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just better to let go. If it's just some silly comment about, the way you look or some silly thing that someone said about you, just
Let
let
it
it
go.
go. It's just a silly comment that someone said. Yeah, it can be
Yeah,
rude, it can be mean, it may hurt your feelings for a bit, but overall, it's just you just gotta let go and move on. There's better people that care about you, anyways.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
um,
mean, I
yeah,
have like no self esteem, but that brings about its own advantages
mm,
because with me not really caring about my own self as much as I probably should, that opens me up more to not really paying much attention to what other people care about
mm,
when it concerns me. Now, there are times I've I've stumbled with this. I've had some, you know, places, some times where, yeah, maybe I should have cared a
yeah,
little more than I did,
mm,
but you only live once.
true. You just gotta be, try things, be you, and have fun along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the one
Mm,
other thing I think is seeing what we can possibly do in the future. And I've got ideas, like getting into doing 3D printing and building things with that, and maybe even metal forging and casting and all that with metal. That's an option.
seeing 3D printing to me has come so far.
Oh boy,
Like,
it
it
has.
is absolutely mind blowing.
It used to be
Like,
such a brittle material, like you could pretty much drop something made out of the stuff and it would shatter like a glass. Now it's super strong. You can bend it, you can flex it, you can use it for mounts for GoPros. You can even make fursuit heads out of it. It's impressive now. It's a renowned
yeah,
material for its
like,
usability.
well, and like, you heard the new Porsches,
Hmm?
their pistons
3D printed.
are all 3D printed.
Yeah, that
And
is insane.
it's bringing so much more performance to them. Like, their motors are actually improving by leaps and bounds.
Technology
Although,
is just insanely getting faster and faster, and it just impresses me sometimes just how impressively you know how far can someone make this device in terms of in performances, and like how better can you make a battery in a device in terms of lifetime. How fixable is this
yeah,
device and what the lifetime expectancy of that device is without having to be fixed or maintained.
yeah.
Yeah, like
It,
it
we're
stumps me.
in a new we're in a new technological revolution,
Yeah,
and
when I
I'm
was when I was a kid, a phone was this thing that you just like they were either a Nokia bricks or these things like a mobile wire phone which you had to use buttons. They didn't have touchscreens. They were very, very, very
yeah.
expensive to have a touchscreen. It was a status symbol almost in some cases. To have
Well,
any
and
screen that had a touchscreen.
yeah, and I still remember the days when touch screens were like science fiction. Like you
Yeah,
only saw that on like Star Trek or Star Wars,
it's amazing. You think
and now
about
they're
you think like
they're
watches that
everywhere.
have screens built into them and all that. Back in the day, that was impossible because they didn't have LCDs. They only had two, vacuum tube TVs, the big
Yeah,
cathodes, and
and the CRT TVs
exactly
that
the CRTs.
I grew up with.
I remember when they used to have those computer TV, the computer screens for all those. I actually remember
Yeah,
sitting in front of one of those as it's started up and everything.
and it was like a 20-inch screen,
Yeah,
but the whole thing weighed like 50 pounds.
yeah, it weighed a ton. Those things did. They're just
And
solid
now
glass.
and now you can pick up a 20-inch screen and it's like
Paperweight.
nothing.
This barely weighs more than
Yeah.
about a pound at most.
Yeah. And it's like wow, it blows my mind how we've progressed.
Yeah, like I recently, when we were throwing out an old TV, I disassembled it to find the parts inside for if anything was salvageable, which there was quite a bit of stuff, some LEDs and a few other bits and pieces, but it blows my
Always.
mind as to how impressively compact they've made the screens. The first piece is just the screen itself, the rest is just backlighting for the actual display.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you actually ever take the time to
Well,
look into it, it's impressive how thin the actual LCD actually is. It's just layers of glass and crystal with very thin metal lining sandwiched together.
well, and and you remember those remember the days when to get a like truly big screen TV, you had to go get one of those projector TVs,
I remember those things. Those are
and
nuts.
it took like a freaking meal team to move them anywhere.
Yeah, two
Yeah,
trolleys,
and
two sack barrows, or those trolleys, forklift trolleys.
yeah,
Yeah, two of those sometimes just to move them. Like they weighed as much as a fridge.
yeah, and now you can get
Flat
what was the
screens
biggest one I've seen? It was like a 70-inch flat
display.
screen TV
Yeah, it's
that
impressive.
barely weighs like what
Easily
30
two,
pounds.
easily two people can move it around easily. Even
I
one
mean,
person if they're strong enough.
well, and the whole the only real problem with it was the weight distribution is kind of awkward
Yeah.
considering, how spread out it is. If all that mass was centralized,
Mm,
you could move it by yourself. No problems.
yeah. It's mainly just the big metal backing on them that's used to dissipating the heat.
Yeah.
But other than that, it shows you how impressive it's just gotten. Like, and
Yeah.
most TVs have a smart board in them that can do what some cheap computer, basically like a cheap computer, um, with all your serial inputs and digital displays with a wireless adapter for connecting to the internet.
Well, and the funny thing is,
Hmm?
you're not going to believe how I'm getting my internet.
How are you doing that?
Actually, you probably would,
Hmm?
considering how far we've come technologically.
You hotspotting using your phone?
Yeah, and it's running Second Life.
That is actually pretty impressive. You know, your character moves around perfectly fine, and that's
Yeah, I'm
impressive.
not lagging that bad.
Yeah.
And when I was living with my parents and we had a direct connection, I was still lagging horribly when I first started SL.
I'm betting that you're using the old school phone lines or something similar to that. Now these days we've got
Mm,
something we all know as fiber optic, which is literally traveling a message through light transmission.
well, and that's the thing is there for a while. Yeah, we were using dial up,
Wow.
but after we actually got Wi-Fi
Hmm?
and I started doing sec, it was about the time I started on Second Life
Yeah.
was when we got Wi-Fi. I was still lagging like crazy.
Oh yeah.
I did I didn't have performance this good till now.
That's impressive. You know, just you think about something you can hold in the palm of your hand is the computing power it took to get people to the moon.
Yeah, and those
Yeah.
those computers at the time literally took up whole rooms.
They used essentially what was the equivalent of relay switches,
Mhm.
all connected to one another in such a way that they acted as what the equivalent is to a standard microchip on your phone. And it's
Yeah.
just the reason that we're able to get so fine and small technology is you can simply just scale these things to such a ridiculously small size, a grain of salt, you know, a grain of rice, that
Yeah.
it literally it mind boggling, you know. You take a look at one of these things under an electron microscope, you'd be just stunned as to the tiniest of details.
Well, and the way my dad put explained relay switches to me, I thought was hilarious.
They're a magnetic
He's
coil that, when you put an electronic charge through them, it switches the relay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but the way he put it was, okay, so you've got this entire room full of computers, these giant hulking fridge-sized boxes, and they're
Hmm.
all run by this little tiny guy. And mind you, I was like 8 at the time when I started
Oh yeah.
asking about this. He's like, well, imagine there's a little tiny guy running around all of these computers or all of these boxes, and he's just flipping light switches.
Hmm.
And each light switch turns on a different light. I was like, I was amazed because I thought, well, man, this guy's got to be faster than the Flash.
Yeah. There's actually recordings of these devices as they're running, and you can hear them all clicking away. And some of them are actually in like a sequence as they're clicking, and it sounds really impressive.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
these mechanical switch computers are very rare these days to actually find one that's actually operating. There is one in Japan that actually operates to show you how they work, which is stunning.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what to search for it to come up again, but yeah. And then we
That
switched to
that would
hard drives for storage and memory and all that, and other
and
things, and
things just shrunk.
yeah.
And then we started putting lasers into things.
Mm-hmm.
Like say um let's see here. The first one was this like ginormous floppy disks.
Yep.
And well, actually even before the lasers, there was punch cards.
Oh yeah,
that
those
shrunk
things.
those that shrunk the relays down.
Yep.
Like it eliminated the need for a good portion of relays.
Mm-hmm.
And
The
then
true death of the relay computer was the transistor, which was the tiny little electronic version of the transistor. No, not resistor,
yeah,
transistor, I'm saying. Which is what a lot of
yeah.
technology is based off of now.
And then from the transistors we started, you know, the transistors were running off of the punch cards.
Yeah.
And then we started running transistors off of like these ginormous floppy disks that were like a foot wide.
Yeah.
And those started getting smaller. And
Eventually.
the lasers on them, or no, it was magnetic.
Yeah,
It was
magnetic
magnetic.
discs back then.
Yeah,
Just like
because
your tape
I
cassettes.
yeah, because I remember accidentally corrupting a floppy drive.
Whoops. Yeah, magnet.
Yeah, we only had one game in the house, and that was Wheel of Fortune on floppy disk,
Oh no.
and it was like three. I think it was like 3 discs for the game itself, and I accidentally
Oh.
corrupted one.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah,
As I was growing up, it was around the time that the PlayStation 2 and 1 were released. And I remember one thing. The game, the actual discs that came with them, the case they came in had a little slot for the memory card. And
oh yes.
each memory card was enough to hold just one game that you had. And so what they did was they put each you would have your disc, but you'd also have your memory card for that
Yeah.
game. Those are now like the equivalent if you had something that size of modern standards, it would be enough to hold hundreds of games of this caliber. Well, not hundreds, but more or less
Well,
dozens. Like, that's impressive.
and I'm sitting like attached to my computer. I've got a little USB hub.
Yep.
On that hub, I actually have a 2 terabyte hard drive,
Wow.
and this thing literally fits in the palm of my hand,
It's shocking, isn't
and
it?
it it still to this day amazes me.
That
Like,
storage space on a thin glass metallic disc.
yeah, and like years ago, like I want to say when I was maybe 10 or 11,
Hmm.
terabytes weren't even heard of yet.
Yeah. No one
It
had
was
ever
a
used
stretch
that
for
much.
it was a stretch for a gigabyte,
Yeah.
and now a gig is just like some little arbitrary number anymore.
Yeah.
Like most of your games are like what 4 or 5 gigabytes
Hmm.
just for the execution program.
I don't know, but
Then
yeah.
there's like the files have gotten
Hmm.
absolutely insanely huge.
Yeah. They're very power
And
demanding games, and you're sitting there going, gee, I'm going to need a bigger, better, powerful computer. And there is a market for people wanting games that are more simpler for the computer to run, so they're not overclocking everything and burning out their computers all the time. And
well, and
there's a lot of the new.
I
There is like a new old style retro craze, and people have become really looking for that in some cases.
yeah, and like ColecoVision or Atari or Commodore or 64
Yeah, all the
games.
old school games, yeah. Like,
They're
there was
they're
that
making a
feeling.
comeback certain niches.
Yeah, like it's I I sometimes dust off freaking Space Invaders for crying out loud. Space Invaders.
Oh my gosh, I have memories with
I
that.
actually have a copy on my PC and I actually play it with a
Nice.
console controller because it's the easiest way to play it with a console controller. I need to get a proper one for it, but there's
Okay,
nothing.
are you still using the console controller? Is it still the single joystick with the button on the top?
Nope, it's just an Xbox
Oh,
controller. But yeah, I will probably look at getting some
uh,
retro controllers for playing games like that. There's nothing like it. I remember
no.
playing some of the arcades where we used to live when they had some of them. And I'd
Well, and I,
sit there with the joystick. And I can remember the way it felt. There was that resistance. You had to, fight the controller to
yeah,
get to the right spot, and you felt the large button.
you're,
You'd push it in, and there was that feeling
you're,
of, you actually had to
you're
put a bit of
doing
effort in.
things.
Yeah,
You,
that
yeah,
retro feeling from a controller.
yeah. There's really nothing like it.
Yeah,
And honestly, I loved that about arcades.
yeah. You
And
can
I
get
wish,
actual arcade units. These special. They're making a comeback with arcades. Raspberry Pi units being used as a computing unit, which are actually perfect for playing retro games on Retro Pi. Um,
nice.
that's something that people have been building as game consoles as well. It looks kind of like a what is it? A kind of like a Switch, but it's actually built as an emulator for playing retro games of various nature. There's
Nice.
a thing called a Power Kitty, which allows you to play emulated games. They're all pre-built and all that. I don't know how good they are, but I've heard they're okay. Um, but yeah, there's a whole lot of
Well,
interesting games like that that I've seen people playing.
well, in one of my favorite retro games, I was never really that great at it,
Mm.
but it was Donkey Kong.
I have never played Donkey Kong. I'm gonna have to try that at some stage.
Like I'm I'm not talking like Donkey Kong Country or something like that. No, we're talking Mario climbing a tower, all the
Oh,
while Donkey Kong's throwing barrels down the tower at you.
oh yeah,
Well, you're the whole time you're trying to climb this tower to save the princess. I
oh
think it
yeah,
was Daisy at the time.
oh yeah,
This was before the advent of Peach.
oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like it if we can get it like a little screen a video screen of it,
Hmm. I'll
I
try and
guarantee
we'll have to try and find it.
it it would it would up and send some people back into nostalgia.
That's if we can find a picture of it. But yeah, one of
It,
the favorite games I used to play was like things like Ratchet and Clank. Back in the day, those were some of the games I used to play. Um, all those games. That's probably half the reason why I'm furry,
yeah,
including a whole lot of like
Jack
TV media and stuff. Like I
Jack and
remember TV
Daxter.
shows. Oh, and I played that as well. Yeah.
Oh, Looney Tunes.
Yep. I remembered that from my kid child. There was a show that I used to watch, and this may not be something that you may know about. There used to be a show called Zoids.
Oh
Ever
my gosh,
remember
yes.
that show? I have not seen anyone talk about the show anywhere. It used to be a whole mech thing. Like this is before. Um. Oh, what
Like
is it?
Zoids was right in there with Gundam.
Mm,
It was in that whole giant robot craze of like the
yeah.
90s, early
I
2000s.
used to have the actual action figures when I was a kid.
Nice.
I had a couple of them. My brother had a couple of them. I remember that time in history. That shows you, like it's one of those periods in time where you actually they had some pretty nuts ideas of making cartoons. Now these days, it's
Yeah,
just it kind of hurts looking at some of the stuff you see. It's like, what even is this? It
yeah,
feels
or
substanceless. It feels
or
empty.
some of the shows you look back at that you enjoyed as a kid, and you're like,
What was
oh
this?
my gosh, these are so cringy. Why did
Yeah,
I like this?
yeah, that's the same for oh, what was it? There was another one that I used to watch until they cancelated the episodes. American Dragon, if anyone knows that.
Oh, American
Uh,
Dragon, Jake Long.
yeah, I remember that.
Uh, oh my gosh, I actually found a few episodes on YouTube, and I started watching it,
I'm probably
and
going to end up doing that
I was
now.
like, why?
Why did
Why
I
was
watch
this a
this?
thing for me?
Exactly. And now look at me. I'm Dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you got me, who I still have yet to like seriously dig into this Avi, but
Mm.
I will at one point.
Mm.
I just gotta start throwing money at Linden Labs. Like,
Mm.
shut up and take my money and make this.
Yeah, well, that's something entirely. But yeah, that's like
Yeah.
overall, I think this has been one of those moments where just going down nostalgic lanes and realizing why I may end up being furry to begin with.
Right?
Yeah, like some of the things just kind of trigger something in your mind. Just this is relatable, and these people relate to it.
Like cat dog.
Oh my god. Oh no, I remember that. That has to be one of the weirdest TV shows I can think of. Out there are weirder, but like that's just one of the more renowned weird TV shows of the time.
Yeah.
If someone
I mean,
today watched it, they'd be like, "What the hell is this?" They would have no clue what they're looking at. Yeah,
some certain groups, and I'm not gonna sit here and point fingers at anybody
yeah, okie dokie.
be- because, well, that's just not right. But there are certain groups out there that would watch cat dog and be entirely disgusted by it.
Yeah, I
Because
don't
some of
blame them. They're
the
like, "What the
references,
hell is this?" But yeah, it's like you find those old shows and you actually remember them for some reason, just some reason. You remember it, even though you hadn't watched it for years. And then all of a
yeah,
sudden, something in your mind clicks. I remember things recently that I've forgotten for years, where I used to live in the countryside. Um, we used to live in a house that was so old that it didn't even have proper power to the house. I don't even think it even had internet, of course. Didn't even have phone lines
dang,
to it. May have had phone lines, but I don't think they were internet capable because they were that old. Um,
yeah,
the whole area was just this barren landscape with with a small orchard, and the power was from either a wind turbine or possibly a generator. And we lived out there, and it was remote. That's that was my
yeah.
earliest memories as a child. I grew up in
Uh,
that kind of land, where I just living in the middle of nowhere.
yeah.
Yeah.
And there's something to be said about growing up like that.
Hmm.
Just the simplicity that it brings can be absolutely wonderful.
Oh yeah.
Like, my grandmother had a cabin up in Montana, in what is about near a ghost town called Hughesville.
Hmm.
Like, it was way out in the sticks. There was there was power, and the only source for running water we had was a well that was
Oh
dug,
yeah.
that was drilled on the property.
Oh, it had
But
to hand pump that, I guess.
um,
Or was it like a
no, I
wind
think they
turbine?
had nah. It was an electric pump.
Oh, yes, they had electricity. Huh.
Yeah,
Cool.
but as for restroom facilities or taking a
Long drop.
shower,
I'm guessing.
yeah,
Long drop.
is the log drop, and then
Oh,
either that or like for example taking a shower.
I'm guessing you'd
You filled
pour.
up this 5-gallon jug, and we had we had a shower stall
Yeah.
out behind the cabin,
You'd take your water
and there
out
was a
there
little.
and have it hooked up to a tap, and you just pour it into that.
No, you filled up the 5-gallon jug, and it had like this shower head nozzle on it,
Oh, I think I've seen
and
those.
the jug sat on a shelf. And to turn the shower on, all you did was open up the jug,
Yep.
and it came out the shower head, and you had 5 gallons of water
Yeah.
before you had to, whether
Refill.
you were done or not, refill it.
Yep. Yeah, to be
So,
quick.
oh yeah, basically catch the rank parts and be done.
Yep.
But like, we didn't even get cell phone service up there.
Oh yeah. I don't even think
So,
you had phone lines, did you?
no.
Yeah, you're pretty much just you had to go and get help if you had to go get help.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we had neighbors,
Oh yeah. Well, that's good to
but
know.
they were I think the closest one was about a quarter mile down the road
Mm-hmm.
or up the hill another quarter mile, so
Very
about a
far
half
away from
mile
each other.
radius.
Yeah.
Yeah. And most of my time out there, I I absolutely loved going up there because I could just, disconnect from all the hustle and bustle of
Everything.
modern society. And there was some abandoned mines
Huh.
and trails and, you
All
know,
kinds of places to explore.
yeah, like there were some abandoned houses too that were just so cool to crawl into and, look
Yeah.
around and
I found a couple
see.
abandoned places myself, in some places around New Zealand, and honestly, it's quite nice just to sit there and like you find small things, like the smallest of things, and it leaves you speechless. You know, this item once was here when people were, stomping around on this loose old floor that was probably a lot better condition back in its day. Like it's just
Yeah.
this small like the tin lid from a old jar or a freaking like you find a small piece of paper from a newspaper and it's actually like dated back to like 1980s or something crazy back in the day. This places like a lodge that people came out to
Yeah.
stay in, and it was quite nice actually just to sit there. That was once
Um
someone's amazing home.
well, and one of the coolest things, it's been it's long since been demolished,
Mm.
but I actually got my senior picture taken at this place too.
Oh, cool.
Is the It was up in the abandoned mines.
Oh
They
wow.
had this ginormous smelting building.
Whoa. Massive smelter.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was built to be a smelter or if it was just a processing station, but it was about 3 stories tall,
Hmm.
and the braces for it were foot wide timbers.
Oh, wow.
Like absolutely massive boards.
That's impressive.
And it had been standing since since probably about the, I want to say, early 1900s.
Hmm.
And I mean, the floor in this place was gone,
Yeah.
but the structure itself
Still
was like
standing.
this monolith of a building.
Hmm.
Like, if I'd have seen it today, it would have still struck the same awe that it did back then. Because,
Hmm.
I mean,
There was a time when I went to a certain island over here in New Zealand called Blue Mine Island, which, if I remember right, has multiple bunkers on it. And these concrete
ooh,
mega structures were built back in World War Two. They
I'd,
were massive.
I'd love to go through a bunker.
They they were built for because they're planning on moving an entire fleet into the Marlborough Sounds, which is just all these islands, all completely scattered out, and the idea was if something came in, it would be very hard for them to get in and out in one piece because there was all these bunkers placed everywhere strategically to detect to detect the sound of submarines to take out anything that came in essentially. And it was impressive. It's one of these massive bunkers was you could sleep hundreds of people in the main gun bunker. The major,
Wow.
there was a smaller bunker which was where they the magazine, and there was a blocked off concrete filled section which once went underground to somewhere else. It was
Wow.
huge, and the
See,
structure even had stalactites starting to grow in some places.
wow.
Yeah.
See, I'd love to go through places like that.
Mm. Oh,
Like, I don't I don't usually do the touristy things
it
when
technically
I,
is, but at the same time, it depends if you can get onto the island and all that. It's a
yeah,
massive bird reserve. It's actually a massive reserve for animals who shelter there
nice.
now. So it's actually serving a different purpose entirely. The
That's
island has
cool.
become home to many of New Zealand's native species. It's nice seeing it. It's very rare
Yeah,
seeing some of the native animals here, and it's quite a nice turn when you actually get to see something like a native reptiles like the tuatara and sometimes if you're very lucky to see a kiwi, which is a very rare sight. They for their size,
I'm
they really are impressive little birds.
on. I've seen pictures of kiwis,
Mm.
and they look absolutely adorable.
Yeah, they
Like,
do.
I would love to keep one as a pet. But then I remember a
Mm.
kiwi's egg
It's literally
is about
about
like 75% of its body
yeah,
in size.
yeah,
And I'm like, oh my gosh, you little poor little bird.
yeah. The poor thing has to lay that thing.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, you poor thing.
It'd almost be like a chicken trying to lay an ostrich egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. We also got ostriches over here, which actually is kind of interesting. They were brought over originally for food or something, but people both eat the ostrich and the eggs, and I can definitely say ostrich tastes like beefy chicken. It's actually really nice.
Okay, so I got a question for you.
Hmm.
If everything tastes like chicken, then what does chicken taste like?
Hmm. That's a good one. But yeah, it's like
Man,
it's finding yourself, those kinds of experiences interesting.
yeah.
So, how did you like doing this podcast, by the way?
Oh, it's been great.
Wow, yeah. I'm probably going to have to edit some stuff out, but we'll try and make sure to get quite as a good amount of this in. And with all the
Yeah,
subjects, it was quite nice.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it got heavy there for a little bit, but
Well, yeah,
then we got a whole bunch of fun stuff in there too.
exactly. And hey, thank you. It was quite nice to just do this for once. And to everyone that views, thank you for watching. This has been Vulcanax
And
and the adorable bean of Jacky.
I'm not a bean.
Well,
If this video gets 150 likes, Volk will let me know, and I'll tell you some ski stories.
that would have to be another story for another time, actually. Okie
Oh heck
dokie.
yeah!
Well,
But I got some ski stories. I got snowmobile stories. Yeah.
oh, oh well, guys. It has been an amazing recording of all the amazing things, and it was quite nice to do this. Hope you all a wonderful day, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content. See us around.